Hello everyone, welcome to Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services. It's a video on daily news and editorial analysis, which I'll be covering from the Hindu and Indian Express, the important news and editorial that would be relevant for the preparation of civil services examination will be discussed in this session. Let's get started with the news topic list. Today is 28th of April. The first important news, that is Indian Army to raise cyber operation and support wing, something very important considering the fact that the present generation is guided by technology and state-of-art instruments. Second, different GST rates for game of skill and change. Government is looking forward on the recommendations of the group of ministers that have recommended certain rates. Specifically, we'll see the detail on the discussion part. Third, EPFO to wait for the applications before finalizing the EPS because there was a ruling, an order from the Honorable Supreme Court regarding the higher contributions by an individual. Fourth, RBI wants banks to firm up capital buffer assets and risks. We'll see the detail also. The last is an editorial. Darwin must stay in Indian textbook. Recently, as per the National Curriculum Framework, the government has dropped and even eased out some of the chapters which government feel is not important, but when it comes to important chapter like Darwin, a lot of concern has been raised for the elimination of this chapter for the students. We'll see the detail about this as well in the discussion in the detail. Apart from the news and editorial discussion, at the end of this video there will be MCQ based questions. These questions will be based on current affairs that will help you for the upcoming prelims examination. So without any further ado, let's get started. And if you are new to our channel, do not forget to subscribe Apti Plus Academy for Civil Services on YouTube. If you like this video, if you find this video informative and helpful for your examination purposes, do press a like button. And if you are an aspirant of civil services examination who are looking forward to appear for CSE 2023, we are organizing a free mock test for the prelims examination. The name of the initiative is Prelims Mirror. There will be two papers that will be followed. First is GS paper, the timing is mentioned, and then GS paper 2. The date for Prelims Mirror is 14th of May. So what do you need to do? You need to register yourself to get the Prelims Mirror benefit, and be rest assured Apti Plus in Eastern India best IAS institution is conducting this online or offline. For more details, do check out the description and register yourself to get the benefit out of this initiative. Now, moving to the first news, that is Indian Army to raise cyber operations and support wings. Something important for General Studies paper 2 under the subtopic, that is the government policies and intervention for the development of various sectors and issues arising from a design and implementation. So what was the decision that was taken by the Ministry of Defense? If you see, the Ministry of Defense has said that Indian Army is set to launch the Command Cyber Operations and Support Wing. This will be known as COSW, to bolster the online network and even to part the safeguard against the increasing activities for the countries like China and Pakistan targeting India in a virtual mode. So what Government of India has done, Government of India is looking forward to part and incorporate the part of technology advancement for the army, right? Those of you, all the aspirants who are preparing for CAPF examination, in the second paper, if you're writing in essay paper, you can highlight this of the initiative. Now, cyberspace has emerged one of the important components of the military domain, and it is definitely both in the gray zone warfare and also for the conventional area which is there. So definitely the time, the need of the hour is to augment ourselves in terms of the advancement of technology, incorporating the state-of-art technology. Now the ministry, that is the Ministry of Defense, has decided to have an operationalizations of the Command Cyber Operation and Support Wing that was taken during the आर्मी कमांडर कॉन्फ्रेंस. रिसेंट में आर्मी कमांडर की कॉन्फ्रेंस हुई थी जहां पे मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ डिफेंस ने डिसाइड किया दैट विल बी मूविंग अहेड विद ऑल अदर एडवांसमेंट विद द रिव्यू ऑफ द करंट emerging situations of the security and assessing the operational readiness of the Indian Army. For time being, it is specifically confined to Indian Army. Gradually, government will be incorporating the part to the Indian Air Force and also to the Indian Navy. Now, what was the rationale behind this decision? After part of the rising activities and adversities which is coming out of the country like China and Pakistan, this was decided by Indian Army to operationalize the part of a specialist unit that can cater and counter the part of the threat that is coming from the cyber warfare initiative, because these two countries have been showing some of the milling activities when it comes to the cyber part. And the move by the Ministry of Defense comes as the Indian Army seeks the modernized communication system and to protect its network against the evolving threat from the country like China, Pakistan, and many other country which is not having a good relationship with India. Now, in order to augment the overall capabilities, बात करें forces की, उन्होंने जो नई technologies हैं, even they are at the initial state at the niche technology equipment, have decided to nominate the lead directorates. Even the test bed formations की जाएगी, optimal utilizations, and even the part of the philosophies to facilitate the better explorations and the part to improve the overall capabilities will be taken into consideration. Now, there's a specific wing which is coming in the Indian Army. This will be known as a technical entry scheme. And the new technical entry scheme of the officers, which is expected to enforce from January 2024, is expected to approve. And this particular force will have all the background on the tech, right? So there will be tech equipped forces. And under the existing technical entry scheme, the Indian Army and as a BTech graduates of a 5-year educational model that was introduced in 1999. Now, under the current model, 5-year program introduced की जाएगी for military training at the Officers Training Academy, जिसे OTA भी कहते हैं. OTA is in Gaya. There are other OTA in Hyderabad and Bangalore also. Followed by the 3 years BTech program degree that will be taught, and then followed by 1 year and then 1 year of the engineering college for the Indian Army. So complete part of a holistic development and a long-term process by the government of India. Now, and a decision has also been adopted for the 4-year model. That means that it could have a 3-year training focusing on the technical training for the military personnel or the army personnel. Now, moving to the other news, differentiated GST rates for the game of skill and change, something important for General Studies paper 3 precisely. That is the Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. And in paper 2, you can utilize this General Studies paper 2 also, where government policies and intervention are categorically mentioned in the syllabus. So, Ministry of Finance, which is a concerned ministry when it comes to imposing tax on certain items. So, it's considering classifying the online games into the categories of skill and change and levying a differential rate of GST, that is good and services tax. Now, the online gaming where winning is dependent on the criteria of outcome or is a nature based on the betting on gambling would attract 28% of the GST. For complete betting and gambling, this will be amounting to 28% of the GST, and those involve some amount of skill would be levied at 18%. जहाँ पे skilling involved होगी वहाँ पे 18% की जाएगी. This is something again the unanimity has to meet between the group of minister that has come up with the decision. The final decision on the taxation of the online gaming would be taken by the GST Council meeting, the apex body when it comes to the finalization of the decision, and it will meet in the next month, that is in the May or June. Identifying game categories की बात की गई है. The task to differentiate between the game and the skill will be taken into consideration. और currently online gaming पे इंडिया ने या गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने मिनिस्ट्रीज ने 18% की टैक्स रखी. Now, the levy on the gross game revenue, and it's something that fee charged in the online gaming portal. And the group of ministers chaired by Meghalaya Chief Minister in December last year have submitted the report on GST for the online gaming to the Union Finance Minister. Now, outcome of Geo meeting की अगर बात करें, जो last meeting हुई है group of ministers की, they have come up with a decision that there should be a part of the 28% GST that should be applicable for the online gaming, right? And this was taken on the part of the skilling as well, but government has currently reduced it to 18%. However, the council has asked the GUM to consider its report. Now, charging 28% of the entire amount, the player responsible for their games, both categories will be looking into the consideration, and even reducing the price would distribute on the part of giving players the legitimate tax deduction portals. Now, gaming industry in India की अगर बात करें, India is the world's largest mobile gaming market in terms of app download, and the online gaming industries has grown exponentially to the pandemic. Even during pandemic, during lockdown, this industry has flourished, and the online gaming industry is currently contributing 22,000 crore rupees of GST as per Ernst & Young and the ASCOM. Now, KPMG की रिपोर्ट है, उन्होंने बताया that online gaming sector has grew up to 29,000 crore rupees in 24-25, and it is expected, like earlier it was 13,600 crore rupees, now it can reach up to 29,000 crore rupees. Indian gaming industry is 1.8 billion, 303 million mobile gaming, and 38% of CAGR that is there. Now, coming to the other news, that is EPFO to wait for applications before finalizing the higher EPS. This is there for the important, like the part that is important in this news is General Studies Paper 2, Government Policies and Intervention for the Development of Various Sectors and Issues Arising from a Design and Implementations. So the EPFO, that is Employment Provident Fund Organization, has decided to wait for the number of applicants before they release the procedures to calculate and pension with the higher number when it comes to the decision that was given by the Honorable Supreme Court. The last date to file the joint operations to claim higher provident fund pensions will end on May 2023. Now, EPFO has issued a circular recently which stated that the applications and the joint options for the higher pension will be examined by the field officers, right? Now, Supreme Court की क्या order है इस regard में? The Supreme Court in its order has said that 4 or more months should be given to the eligible options to the higher pension under the EPS Act 1995, that is 1995, जो employment pension schemes है उसके अंदर. And even the court has struck down the part of requirement for the 2014 amendment जहाँ पे 1.16% की contributions रखी गई थी. It should not exceed 15,000 a month, and this will facilitate the subscription for contributing higher number to the scheme get enhanced benefit accordingly. Now, what is the current provision when it comes to the part of contributions? EPFO ने अपने members को entitled किया है pension after retirement, और अगर current provisions की बात करें, the employee can contribute 12% of their basic salary and even adherence allowances to the EPF. और ये जो employer की contribution है 12%, this goes 8.33% on the employee pension scheme and 3.67% in the EPF, that is Employee Provident Fund. This is again factually important for a prelims examination also. However, the 8.33% of the EPS contribution is capped at the maximum amount of 15,000 which employers do. इसी को change करने की बात कही है Supreme Court ने. And the cap on the EPS contribution was introduced in 2014 and the amendment to the EPS Act. And moving to the other news, that is RBI warned banks firm up capital buffer and asset risk, excess the risk on the part which is there. Something important for General Studies Paper 3, that is Indian economy and issues related to planning, mobilization, resource growth and development. The Reserve Bank of India expects the management and the board of directors for the banks to assess their financial risks and secure the capital resources surpassing the minimum regulatory benchmark on the constant basis. This is a kind of, you can say, the regulatory measures taken by the Reserve Bank of India, right? While addressing the global conference on financial resilience, RBI ने कहा that Indian banking system should remain resilient and should not be affected by the recent spark which is going on the financial instability and in some of the advanced economy. We have seen that US Fed ने भी अपनी rate में changes किए हैं, उसके repercussions बहुत सारे global economy में होती है, and India is something which is also not spared of. Now, this required a continued resilience in terms of sustainable growth and individual bank and financial entities. Now, roadmap की अगर बात करें, the Reserve Bank of India governor have further said that is need for the resilient future, and ready bank needs to have a financial, operational, and organizational resilience. They need to work on these three fronts. Now, to be financially resilient, banks should also have adequate capital buffer, which is mandatory on the part of certain instrument which RBI follows, right? And can be also ready to generate earning from time to times on a macroeconomic shocks. RBI therefore has stated that looking at the business model of a bank more closely. Moving to the editorial of the day, that is Darwin must stay in Indian school textbook, something important for general studies paper 2, that is issues related to development and management of education and human resources. So what is the importance of this editorial and what are the issues that I'll be discussing? The focus area and the theme of this editorial is the new curriculum and new textbook, which is aligned as per the National Education Policy 2020. I'll be looking to the part of the proposed changes that is discussed in this editorial, need for the Darwin theory, and the conclusion part. Now, if you see recent government decision, जहाँ पे government ने पूरी chapter है Charles Darwin's की theory of biological evolutions from the NCERT class 10th has been removed, and they said that these are the part of the elimination that is taking place, or you can see the rationalization, or you can say the part of reductions of the syllabus as per the curriculum rationalization exercise. Now, the decision raised the questions about part of the genuine rationalization process and large ideological plan to promote certain belief. This is what the expert and even teacher to larger extent, agar baat kare, kuch important subjects like history, we have also seen some chapters were reduced. I'm not discussing that part. We are more concerned and confined on the part of the Darwin theory. Now, in 2018, the Union Minister for Human Resource Development, where earlier it was called as the Human Resource Development, now this is Ministry of Education, right? So it has called that the Darwin theory of evolution is scientifically wrong and asked that it should be removed from Indian school and colleges and the college curriculum, which is something definitely I personally feel is not a good idea, because the scientist part of the experiment takes a lot of time, takes a lot of things into consideration, and definitely the legacy has to continue to the future generation also. Now, what are the proposed changes? The National Council for Educational Research and Training, also known as NCERT, they have dropped the Darwin theory for examination of the syllabus from class 9 and 10 student for the academic year 21 and 22. And in this development, NCERT has now dropped the entire chapter on the evolutions from class 10 textbook. Now, need for Darwin theory, definitely there's a need. Why there's a need? That the scientists and educators across the country are understandably disappointed on the part of the move. And one of the firm part of the established theory which science has come up with is the Darwin theory. And it does not only explain the part of human beings, it also explains the belief of an intelligent designer, right? And it will deprive the student from the information that they are getting. Our just strong foundation honi chahiye biology ki when it comes to evolutions will be definitely exempted on the part of the student, and they will not be able to accumulate self knowledge. Now, Darwin theory is based on fossil, as he collected the wildlife and observed the 5-year trip on the HMS Beagle. The fact is routinely taught. These are some of the important part. If you have read biology till class 10, definitely you must have read, you must be aware of this fact. Now, to get more idea why the Darwin theory is important, I'm just giving you the part of the glimpses so that you get a clarity. So first, this is how the evolution started, have the best genetic fit, strong culture and business strategy. Then we have understand how we need to adapt externally. There was an innovation which took place, adapt to the best practices ahead of the industries and try to be best, and survival for the fittest was a concept which is pretty evident in the 21st century as well, right? So this is how the part of the Darwin theory of evolution is very much important in a human being life. Now, to conclude this part, the Concern of the teachers and the expert with regards to the continuation of Darwin theory is genuine. The reason of this is this example carry a crucial insight about the science both in historical and contemporary world. More importantly, these examples remind us of a messy affairs which is coming out of the human endeavor and that require the caution along the curiosity, creativity, and the imagination. The teaching of the Darwin theory offer a possibilities of the confrontation without paying out its strength. So this is how the conclusion can be made, and you as an aspirant, if you have been asked to write about your opinion and even for the interview, you need to have a neutral view stating that yes, any scientific evidence definitely has a contribution to the society which has continued for a good number of years. For future also it should be continued. Now moving ahead with the MCQ questions of the day, before I proceed, just to tell you the answers of yesterday questions. For first question, the correct option is B. For second question, the correct option is A. Today's MCQ for practice about the Information Technology Intermediaries Guideline Digital Media Ethics Code 2021. It was jointly administered by the Minister of Electronic Technology and the BSNL. It need to appoint a nodal person for 24/7 coordination so that and he should be the resident of India. So do check out for the correct options. Second question of the day is about the war, air equipment. It entered into the US Army 1959 during the Vietnam War, and it's a medium-range air-to-air missile. So do check out for the correct option. Practicing a lot more current affair question will give you an added advantage in the upcoming prelims examination. This was all about for the daily news and editorial analysis followed by the MCQ questions. If you have any other concern, you can reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. For time being, I'm signing off. Thank you so much for watching this video.